Youth employability in the agroforestry, pastoral and fisheries sector in West Africa. The agroforestry, pastoral and fisheries sector, it is an essential component of the economy of West Africa and is recognized to contribute up to 35% in the building of the regional wealth. Besides, it provides more than 80% of food product consumed by the population and uses more than 50% of assets of the regions. With regard of its potential in the various components of the value chain, the ECOWAS Commission deems the sector full of opportunities to employ the young people from 15 to 35 years old and subject to unemployment and rural exodus.
A part of the implementation of the ECOWAS regional agriculture policy, it is important to ensure that a particular accent is put on the employability of young people in order to solve a number of problems such as immigration, rural exodus, illegal immigration.
We have more than 3 million of young people who complete their studies each year in the ECOWAS countries, but only a third of them find a job. Unfortunately, the remaining 2/3 find themselves without decent and sustainable employment. So we really need to do something in this area.
The future of the West African youth is nowhere else than within the ECOWAS space, a conviction which brought the Community Institute to start in 2018 a process which will allow the equip itself with a regional strategy for youth employability in the agroforestry, pastoral and fisheries sector.
Cette stratégie de la CEDEAO comporte 4 axes majeurs.
This ECOWAS strategy has 4 main objectives. The first objective aims to strengthen the youth preparation actions for jobs. The second one concerns the promotion of an environment conducting to integration and empowering of young entrepreneurs. The third axis aims to support the economic and social empowerment of young people. And the fourth objective concerns the sustainable improvement of the governance of young integration initiatives into the agroforestry, pastoral and fisheries sectors. There are 5 results that are expected. First, we want to reduce by 30% the unemployment of young people who arrived on the job market. Second, we are also targeting the reduction of the underemployment of men, young people, and women in rural areas and the reduction of rural exodus rate by 75% by 2030. Third, the third result is the reduction of the overall youth unemployment rate of 50%. Fourth result is the overall reduction of 75% of youth immigration to other continents and other species than that of ECOWAS. Fifth, last but not least, is a working to take into account young people in the reflections, the policies and the strategies of job creation and the governance, generally speaking, at countries level.
To develop efficient value chains that guarantee decent jobs to young people, the stake is challenging. After the meeting of Dakar last April, which allowed to validate the youth employability strategy, it's in Ouagadougou that the regional producers organizations are gathered to formulate the main lines and set structuring projects and programs which can make the agricultural sector more attractive.
Les jeunes voient ceux qui viennent des villes.
Young people see those who come from cities in a consumer culture that is not necessarily what the elders knew. To really give a certain visibility to young people on family farming, it's necessary to build a youth strategy. And this is the reason why ECOWAS has defined a youth strategy in which youth employability is an important component. Of course, our organizations are aligning themselves behind ECOWAS to create mechanisms for youth employment.
La CEDEAO ECOWAS expects these organizations to actively participate in the implementation of the strategy. This workshop should enable organizations to have specific projects that mobilize in the implementation process and should contribute to addressing the issue of youth employability in the agro-forestry-pastoral and fisheries sector. This project will serve as advocacy tools for resource mobilization by these regional producers' organizations. ECOWAS also expects that organizations common to all regional organizations will be identified and that the modalities for their implementation will be discussed among these organizations.
This organization will have to ensure that there are more employment opportunities for young people in the agriculture sector, production, processing, transport, catering, and the whole value chain.
The urgency of issues linked to underemployment, unemployment, and uncontrolled immigration of young people demands more commitment, more actions, more responsibility, and mostly a collective and collaborative effort to all the 15 ECOWAS member countries. That's why the contribution of countries participating in the process, particularly the regional organizations, is important.
Nous, on a proposé un pacte de responsabilité.
We have proposed a responsibility pact for the integration of young people into the agro-forestry, pastoral, and fisheries sector. There are a lot of projects and funds. There are also donors who put money into funding, but this does not help to produce any concrete result for young people in rural areas. I think we need to talk to each other in order to clarify the roles and responsibilities. We must articulate the initiatives. If we succeed in doing so, microfinance institutions and banks will support them. If projects are good, if young people are well coached, if they are integrated into the family dynamic, there will not be a problem. The only real problem we have is the fact that those who give money are not ready to work with all actors. So, we need to clarify the role and responsibilities of everyone in the system.
Il y a un certain nombre de facteurs qui limitent la participation de la femme pour un travail.
There is a number of factors that limit women's participation in paid work. They are very active in domestic and paid work. For example, looking after the family. It takes them a lot of time. We believe that by working on some aspects, we will be able to give them the means to commit themselves in paid and decent jobs.
Les jeunes filles aussi, comme tous les autres jeunes, ne sont pas poussées.
Young girls, like all young people, are not interested in agriculture. Our job is therefore to show them that even milk marketing, grain product and all agriculture product can be organized into a marketplace with better conditions. They will not continue to carry the calabash under the sun and go to sell milk. We are working hard to modernize and transform agriculture on the African continent. So, we shall offer them models that will attract them, and we want to create thousands or even millions of jobs.
Donors, country and international institutions who are concerned by the involvement of young people in jobs creation policies and strategies are also taking part in the workshop.
We then try to influence public policy, and public policy as it may stimulate growth, as it may stimulate employment, as it may stimulate opportunity. So once we have proceeded along these lines that we are currently doing now, where then we can then see a framework that then provides coordination.
Have done an analysis of these sectors. First is that what we require for us in NANS, what we have done is a mapping strategy of all these sectors. If you like, an integrated strategy which looks at incubation, which looks at capacity building, which looks at training, which looks at an ICT-driven training.
Pour que le secteur rural soit très productif.
For the rural sector to be highly productive and beneficial to stakeholders, innovation is needed. We know that research in West Africa is discovering things, but they must be used. We are therefore working with CORAF to ensure that these products are made available to farmers and animal breeders so that they can live decently by their productive activities.
To develop and set up innovative initiatives for facilitating the social and professional maintenance and insertion of young people, the Ouagadougou meeting constitutes a decisive step for the finalization of the regional support strategy to youth employability in the agroforestry, pastoral and fisheries sector.
Sur les 12, 10 étaient venus.
For the actors who intervened with the resource persons, we worked with them, and we can say that we are at 70% of the definition of the program. We will do the rest in August, and we will improve the program so that by the end of August, the 10 regional producers organizations have their programs and be at the same level.
I'm pleased to note that this workshop allowed the 10 organizations involved in the process at the beginning to have draft project. I'm also proud to see that 2 organizations, Correct and Panepawu, that joined the process to participate in the works. This will allow them to start working on the mobilizing projects with the support of Hub Rural and ARA.
After 5 days of presentations, exchanges, and good practices sharing, the meeting of Ouagadougou has allowed to identify a series of adequate measures and solutions to implement in a manner that young people will really be a strength and opportunity for the development of the region.
Si les jeunes partent, c'est parce qu'ils n'ont pas de solution.
When young people leave their countries, it is because they do not have solutions. So we are here to discuss a solution and joint actions between governments and the private sector. At the end of these 5 days discussion, I am glad that we agreed on proposals that will help us to undertake advocacy actions with competent authorities at both national and regional levels. In fact, youth employability problem is a time bomb that needs to be disaggregated.
This is therefore another major step in the implementation of the regional agriculture policy, a policy which has the ambition to change the image of the agroforestry, pastoral and fisheries sector by 2025 and there improve its attractiveness through significant investments.